Hello, everyone. This is Crystal Sanford, and I am here with you to talk all about IEPs. I'm super excited to be here with you today. We have not been live in a while, and this is a great opportunity this summer to talk to you as families, maybe even as professionals, about IEP so that we are ready and empowered for the new school year. And I am going to be here with you today. I have my amazing co host who's going to be joining soon, Miss Desiree Sorgini, who works with us, and she helps me to empower families along this IEP journey. So, just waiting for her to jump on, and we will be getting started. But as she is coming on, I encourage you to go ahead and put in your questions. Add your questions to the comments, and we're going to do our best today to answer them for you live. What better way to be able to get yourself empowered than to be able to get them answered live for you before the school year even starts. I hope everybody is doing really good this summer as well. So much is happening. It's summertime. We're trying to keep our kids engaged and keep ourselves, doing well. And so I can't wait to hear how people are doing this summer and then how we can help empower you in IEPs throughout this summer and get you ready for this great new year. All right, so Miss Desiree will be logging on soon. And again, let us know in the comments about your questions. Now, what brings us to the table here, again, I'm Crystal Sanford. I'm the owner, I'm the lead consultant, speech pathologist at the Sanford Autism Advocacy Group. And we are a small boutique advocacy group in San Diego, California, and we empower all families who have children with IEPs, with a special emphasis on autism because myself and everyone on our team, we are parents of children who are autistic. So we love the idea of being able to share and empower parents because we have been able to learn and grow in our own experience. We also have had extra additional training around the ideas of IEPs. We're certified advocates, and we love bringing that to families because we want you to know all the things. A lot of times you're in IEP situations and it feels as though the school knows certain things and parents are kind of left on their own to figure it out. And so we come alongside you so that you can know all the things as well, and we help you get empowered and see your child get the IEP that they truly deserve and then see that be implemented in real time. So we help families all across California. We do that by Zoom. We do that by any coming in person if you're in San Diego County. All right, we've got our first question today. Thank you so much for being here, Julia. What's the most efficient way to start the IEP process? That is a great question. So, legally, the IEP process would start with an ask. Typically, it starts on behalf of the parent. So, a parent may put in writing, it's not required legally, but we recommend putting a request in writing and sharing this request with the school psychologist or special education director or special ed teacher at the school. And that request would share, I'm the parent of a child at this school. We have concerns. You don't even have to go into a lot of depth because the law just says that it's their job to assess and find students who may be suspected of having requiring special education services. So you can say we're concerned about our child. They have not made progress in school. As a result, we are requesting a comprehensive special ed evaluation, and we look forward to your response in 15 days. Now, and I reference the law a lot, and that is federal law. So federal law states that an IEP team at your request has 15 days to respond. And they should respond with an assessment plan or with a written notice explaining why they are refusing to assess. And 9 times out of 10, they will agree to your request and they will start that IEP assessment process, which then they have 60 days to complete. So the short answer is you put your request in writing. The team must respond to you within 15 calendar days. And since it's summertime, you make your request on the first day of school, as an example, and the team has 15 days to respond. So that's a great question. And one of the ways that we love helping families is at that beginning time of the IEP, where a beginning time where you're just getting started. Maybe you've only attended one, or you haven't gone to one yet, so you want someone to come with you and support you alongside there. We love helping the new family who is new to this process. So that's a great question. As well as we also empower families who have tried, they have engaged in their IEP team, and they kind of are at a place where they're not making traction. Maybe an IEP team has said yes to certain things, and then they're saying no to IEP goals, or no to something extra that you're asking for. Then that's sometimes where we come alongside and help families as well. So great questions, and I'm so excited to be able to answer your questions as they come through today. I'm also looking to have Miss Desiree join if she's able to do that. We're working through some technology things in the background, so thank you for your patience there. And let's see, we are definitely here for your questions. I know something else that families often want to know about is services and what kinds of services are available. It seems as though some parents say they wish there was some kind of a book or IEP Bible or something that would explain, like, how do we know the things to even ask for, right? So services is one of them. What does it look like to have IEP services, and what kind are available? Well, speech and language, I'm biased. I'm a speech pathologist by trade, but that's one service that is available to you and to your child if they are eligible, and an area that you can ask for an assessment. And speech therapy at a public school IEP doesn't just mean it's because your child has difficulty talking. It could also be that your child has some issues with expressive language or receptive language, or stuttering, or social skills, especially for kiddos on the spectrum. The speech therapist can help your child with social skills. And so that's another area where we can support. All right, and thank you again, Miss Desiree. We know that she is trying to log in, having some technical difficulties, but thank you so much, Miss Desiree, for trying. And if she's not able to, we definitely will be going live again, and one more time at least over the summer, so that we can answer more questions for families. Oh, here we go. Here's another question. And thank you for sharing, Samantha. First time IEP next week. What are some good questions to ask them? Great question, Samantha. Very first IEP. Here's one thing that I tell parents all the time. And again, we've been sharing about IEPs with families now, my company, 9 years. I started this company 9 years ago. And so there's so many things that we have seen and heard along the way. But here's something I teach parents. It is at the beginning of that IEP meeting, especially if it's your first or second one, the team might say, thanks for being here. Hopefully you've received a copy of your parent rights. They may also call it procedural safeguards, okay? So, and they might say, do you have any questions about your rights? Most of us just say no, and then we keep on going. But guess what? If you're a new parent to an IEP, when they say, do you have any questions about your parent rights? You answer yes. Now, the IEP team is probably going to be dumbfounded. They're going to be like, what? Because nobody ever asked them to review the parent rights. But I encourage you to do that. you ask them to review the rights with you. It's like a 7-page double-sided document. It The summary takes maybe 7 minutes. Don't make them feel like it's gonna take too long. It's not. But it's important for you as a parent new to the IEP process to hear again what your rights are. And it's also important for the IEP team to hear what your rights are so that they can be reminded that you are a parent who has rights and your child has rights in this process. So ask them to review the rights with you. If you're going to an IEP meeting for the first time today, ask them for a copy of any IEP assessments and the document itself so that between now and next week you can review it and you can get your questions prepared so that you are ready to have your questions organized and ready for that day instead of them just talking to you and you hearing it for the very first time at that meeting. And then lastly, I encourage you to not feel pressure at the end of the meeting if the team says they're ready for you to sign the document. Because the federal law does not give any time frame on when you need to sign that document. So you don't have to sign it immediately. You don't have to sign it the day after. You don't have to sign it in 15 days. A lot of teams will tell you, oh, well, you have 15 days to get back to us. No, that's not what the law says. Some districts have an internal timeline where they're out of compliance if you don't sign it in 15 days, and that's what makes them pressure or encourage parents. But you don't have to do that. You can sign that IEP after you've reviewed it, after you've taken it home, all the things, and then if necessary, if you need to possibly ask for some adjustments to the IEP, or if you have some questions, take time to do that. And then when you're ready, sign the document. Hope that's helpful. All right, another question. Is there a fee for help with the IEP process? So thanks for asking, Julia. With our company, we offer a variety of supports for families. We'll meet with you one-on-one for 15 minutes for free. Any family, you go to our website, there's a link there, and Miss Desiree can even share that in the comments. There's a link you can sign up for a 15-minute free consultation. We do 1-hour consultations at a small cost. Everything that we offer, everything on our website is 10% off for the month of July. So that's something that you can access. You'll receive 10% off, and we'll send you that code, that promo code for that. And that is summer 10. I'm going to actually put that in the comments myself if this allows me to do so. Summer 10 equals a 10% savings for the month of July. So if you're watching this video later on and it's July, you get 10% off when you put in the code summer 10. So anything that we offer, reading your IEP document, giving you an analysis, sitting with you and doing that live, talking to you for an hour, coming to your IEP meetings, all of those things we do offer parents, and there's a 10% off this summer. But that initial, let's just come and sit down and talk, that first 15 minutes, that's at no cost. You can go right to our website and get that link if you need it. All right, let's see. Thank you so much. These questions are rolling in. We've talked about how to get an IEP started, things to know when it's your very first IEP, and we're going to share the link for our help. Another thing I want to share about is the San Diego, not just San Diego, but the regional center. If you live in California, you may be a part of the regional center, and the regional center in California offers resources and supports for families who have children who are autistic, who have intellectual disability, who have epilepsy, or who have a syndrome that is somehow related to that. So if you're part of the regional center anywhere in California, also know that you can access a lot of our services at no cost. We offer a monthly conference that's at no cost to regional center families. We offer IEP coaching, an academy over the summer and the fall, lots of things where regional center funding could help. And if you're a regional center and you're using the self-determination program, that's another way that you might be able to receive funding for our services. Wonderful. All right, here's another question rolling in. hmm Let's see. Is there a way to get assessments or reporting more often? Currently, we get assessments one time a year, and kiddo says it's like finals. Oh my gosh, it's a lot. You're right. It's a lot for our kids to be able to go through assessments. We get assessments one time a year, and the child says it's like the finals. So, um, let me go into what assessments look like, and then maybe this is just something that could help you. So, Erica, and thank you for your question. So the IEP team is required to assess your child at least every 3 years. So there's and this assessment, when I call assessment or evaluation, what the law says, the full-on assessment, which includes standardized testing and observing and all the people that serve your child doing assessments. That's initially the first time, and then they do that again every 3 years. Now, um, the team may do some informal tests and things with your child so that they can get a better sense of where they are progress wise annually, because they're required to have an IEP meeting with you annually. So maybe there's some testing going on to prep for that. That might be what your child is experiencing. The team should be taking ongoing data regarding the IEP goals, and they should be sharing with you updates, progress reports about the IEP goals as often as parents who don't have children with IEPs get progress reports, right? So if your child is in middle school or high school and they get a progress report or a report card, the gen ed kids get that maybe 3 times a year or twice a year or 5 times a year. That often is how often you should be getting progress reports about how your child is doing towards their IEP goals. So that is one way of receiving progress. And check your IEP document. It says in there, usually somewhere toward the last few pages, parent will be informed about student progress, and it says quarterly and biannually or 5 times, whatever it is. So check your child's IEP, because it should say there how often you're getting progress report updates. Um, if you want something more formal, like a full-on assessment that they're typically only going to do every 3 years, but maybe your child has had some changes, things are going on that you believe that you want to get some new information, you can ask the team to do that 3-year assessment earlier than 3 years. They could do it every year if necessary, or every in 2 years if there's been some significant updates with your child. So I hope that's helpful. You get an annual assessment, and then you get an initial assessment, and then you'll get one every 3 years. You should get progress reports, and your IEP document tells you how often you get those. And then if you want to, you can ask for that 3-year assessment to happen early. And for those who are just joining, again, I'm Crystal Sanford, the owner, lead consultant, speech pathologist at this Sanford Autism Advocacy Group. And I'm here. It's the summer. I tried to get my summer vibe with my summer tacky tropical shirt, and trying to get that summer feel, because we're dead in the middle of summer here. But at the same time, it's a good time to prep for the school year. So I'm here answering your questions live. Any IEP question. You ever had that question and you wondered, man, I wish somebody could tell me ... about IEPs. Today is your day. I'm here answering them live for you. Let me check the comments again. You guys are awesome. We've talked so far about initial IEPs and how that starts with the parent putting that request in writing, and the team has 15 days to answer. We also talked about things to know when you're going into your first IEP meeting. Ask the team to review your rights with you. Ask the team to send you the documents prior to the meeting. And then don't feel pressure to sign the IEP until you agree with what it contains. We've talked about resources that pay for advocacy support. We personally do a 15-minute free consult that links on our website. We also offer a different variety of services and supports. They start as low as $100 and go up depending on if you want us actually live in your meeting with you. And for some, the regional center here in California provides some resource and payment for that. And we've talked about, the link is in the comments also if you want to meet with us for free. We've talked about how to get assessments, how to get updated information, and progress reporting. Depends on what your child's IEP document says, and you can always adjust that. And let's see, any other questions? I know they're coming in. Oh, here's a question. Just came in. Thank you, Samantha. What are some accommodations that most parents don't know about? That is a great question. Oh my gosh. Next time, I'm going to make sure that Ms. Desiree, my lead consultant that works with us, is able to be here. But what are some accommodations? There are many, and let me first say that an accommodation is a workaround, a way to work around your child's differences, different needs, so that they can be successful in their educational environment. And so, an accommodation can cover maybe the timing, maybe how information is presented, how they respond, how people respond to them. I mean, you can Google it. There's hundreds of IEP accommodation lists out there. On our website, we have one that you can access as well. We have a part of our website, which is SD, like San Diego, autismhelp.com. And on there, you'll find our store with digital downloads, and you can download a list of accommodations and modifications there. But some accommodations that parents may not be aware of: extra time to complete assignments. If you have a child maybe with ADHD, learning disabilities, anxiety, and things that might lead them to not be as organized or not be able to complete the assignments as everyone else would be able to, their peers, you can ask for the accommodation of extra time to complete assignments, taking tests in a different room or location. If your child has test anxiety and gets nervous when they see other people finish with the test before them, they could take the test in a separate environment. You can ask for restroom breaks, toileting support for our kiddos who have needs in that area, visual supports. Some school classes or teachers will say, oh, well, there's a visual schedule on the board for everybody. But maybe your child needs their own visual schedule on their desk that helps them to have more control and understanding of what's going to happen for them during the day. So maybe having a personal visual schedule is also another accommodation that you can ask for. You can also ask for, here's a good one that came up recently. Decreased demands and offering the child options versus demands. Some of our children have demand avoidance. It triggers a flight or fright response when you put demands and say you have to do this. So instead, giving the child options to choose when possible. Now we know that they're not going to be able to do that all the time, all day. But when it's possible, giving the child two choices. Do you want to do this assignment first or this assignment first? Just poising it that way can be a game changer for some kids. So that's another accommodation that parents can ask for. Also, some support for training for peers and training for teachers. And that the team has a check-in time with you monthly in a format that works for you. If you're having some difficulty getting feedback from the team on a regular basis, you can add that as an accommodation, that the team will check in with parent 15 minutes a month via a Google Doc or text or email. That can be an accommodation as well, and that can be a game changer so that you continue to be aware of what's happening at school instead of finding out about it only once a year at the IEP meeting. So those are some accommodations to consider. Offering the child two choices or choices when possible, restroom, toileting accommodations, extra time to complete assignments, being able to take tests in different environments, personal schedules that are on the student's desk. Those are some options. Grading based on effort. Thank you, Miss Desiree. Even though she's not here live, she is posted in the comments. I love that one as well, right? So the child is graded on effort versus the same rubric, let's say, that a typical student will be graded on, right? So they're working toward mastery, and as long as they demonstrate mastery. So let's say your kid has homework, which we hate homework sometimes, because what is it really doing? Sometimes just frustrating our kids, whereas there are some schools that have banned homework. They don't offer homework. They engage with the child, the teachers engage with the child, and they gauge the learning in the classroom, and anything they do on the outside of that is extra, not a requirement. But let's say there's homework and your child has a homework assignment with 25 math problems. So your child's accommodation is completing tasks to mastery. Maybe they only have 5 problems, or they only have to do 5 problems. That is an accommodation that your child can have, completing tasks just enough to show that they understand that concept and they're just completing it to mastery. Thanks, Ms. Desiree, for that reminder. So again, if you're just joining us, we are here talking all about IEPs. We've got 5 minutes left. Again, I'm Crystal Sanford. I'm your host here. We talk about IEPs and serve families all across California in the IEP process. We have a special emphasis on autism because everyone in my team parents an autistic child, but we help any family who has an IEP. We're here answering your questions live. We'll be doing this again one more time this summer. And today we've got now 4 minutes left to talk about your most pressing IEP question. If you're just joining us, we have already talked about how to get the IEP process started. We've talked about what should a first-time IEP parent know and going to that first meeting. We've talked about resources that can help pay for advocacy. Another thing to consider is DRC, Disability Rights of California. If you live in California, the DRC offers a host of resources on their website. They're a nonprofit organization in California that provides support to families around special education. So you can check out the DRC's website also. If you're outside of California, you can check out the Parent Task Force. There are many states across the U.S. that have Parent Task Force groups, nonprofit groups that also help parents with IEPs. I'm all about sharing resources. If you don't get it from us, get it from somewhere. Again, I'm a parent of a child with an IEP and another one with a 504. I just want you to know all the things so that you're empowered. All right, we also shared about our 10% savings. Everything that we offer is 10% off in the month of July, and there's links there in the comments. What more questions do you have about IEPs, parents? I'm checking the comments. Let's see. Such good questions. Accommodations was another question. We shared some of there. Are laws different by state? That is a great question. Thank you so much for asking. So, we are informed in our company about federal law IDEA. That was enacted in 1975. So this year is 50 years that our country has had a law around how children with disabilities are educated. That being said, federal law guides education in every state, but the states also have the opportunity to follow the whatever, like in here, California Department of Education, their interpretation of the federal law, they may have some things that accentuate, that add to what is available through federal law. They cannot offer less than, but they can have additional interpretations. So you may want to check with your state's Department of Education website and check out anything more specific there that adds to the federal law. But if you understand federal law, you can always reference that, and that should cover any type of an IEP question or concern. But great question. Different laws. We here again follow California Department of Education, and they have some additions to what they provide to families who have children with IEPs. All right, we're coming to an end. We only have a minute left. I just want to say thank you to those who have been here today. It has been truly an honor to answer your IEP questions live. There have been some great questions here. If you have missed out on anything, don't worry, because we're going to be coming back again one more time and getting you ready, the back to school empowerment time for families, so that you can get your IEP questions answered. All right, it's been a pleasure. I'm Crystal Sanford, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye-bye.